Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all very much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today's class will be given by Her Grace Sridevi Mataji. And Mataji is going to enlighten us with the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 15th chapter, verse number 37. Pandavas retired timely. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances all goes to Srila Prabhupada. You can please take over, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Srimati. My humble obeisances to you and to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyayocha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So thank you all so much for assembling again for our daily class as ordered by our Gurudev, who likes that every day we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam class, which is Amal Purana, which is the most purifying to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam every day. As Srimati said, we are still continuing with Canto 1, Chapter 15, Pandavas retired timely, and we are on verse number 37, which hopefully you can see on the screen. I will start with the invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So the verse on the screen we will read out. Yudhishthirastat parisarpanam buddha Pure cha rashtre cha grihe tathatmani Vibhavya lobhanrita jimma Himsanadya dharma chakram gamanaya paryadhat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaj Yudhishthir was intelligent enough to understand the influence of the age of Kali, characterized by increasing falsehood, avarice, cheating, and violence throughout the capital, state, home, and among individuals. So he wisely prepared himself to leave home and he dressed accordingly. Purport. The present age is influenced by the specific qualities of Kali. Since the days of the Battle of Kurukshetra, about 5,000 years ago, the influence of the age of Kali began manifesting. And from authentic scriptures, it is learned that the age of Kali is still to run on for 427,000 years. The symptoms of Kali Yuga, as mentioned above, namely avarice, falsehood, diplomacy, cheating, nepotism, violence, and all such things are already in vogue. And no one can imagine what is going to happen gradually with further increase of the influence of Kali till the day of annihilation. We have already come to know that the influence of the age of Kali is meant for godless so-called civilized man. Those who are under the protection of the Lord have nothing to fear from this horrible age. Haribol! Maharaj Yudhishthir was a great devotee of the Lord, and there was no necessity of his being afraid of the age of Kali. But he preferred to retire from active household life and prepare himself to go back home, back to Godhead. The Pandavas are eternal companions of the Lord, and therefore they are more interested in the company of the Lord than anything else. Besides that, being an ideal king, Maharaj Yudhishthir wanted to retire just to set an example for others. Now, this is very important, so listen up. As soon as there is some young fellow to look after the household affairs, one should at once retire from family life to uplift oneself to spiritual realization. One should not rot in the dark well of household life till one is dragged out by the will of Yamaraj. Modern politicians should take lessons from Maharaj Yudhishthir about voluntary retirement from active life and should make room for the younger generation. Also, retired old gentlemen should take lessons from him and leave home for spiritual realization before being forcefully dragged away to meet death. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Raghuna Lalita Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. I should have said that correctly. So I will repeat the correct Pranam mantra. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Candramauli Swami Niti Namini. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So dear devotees, dear Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, I humbly offer my obeisances again and again to all of you and request for your merciful blessings so that I can do justice to this service that has been given to me today. So this is a very, very instructive verse. See, Maharaj Yudhishthir is the victorious emperor of the world. He has defeated the Kauravas and he has annihilated their armies, and now he's ruling over the whole earth. So you can just imagine what opulence, what power, what influence, what position he has. But is he carried away by all that? No. He's able to renounce everything and go and live in the forest like a common, like just a simple sage lives, because he knows the value of the human form of life, and he also knows the importance of self-realization. See, in those days, the kings of old, even though they had great opulence, beautiful wives, vast armies, vast treasuries, etc., after a certain stage of life, they would give up everything, go into the forest and live on roots, fruits, herbs, berries, live near a stream of water, a river or a pond or a creek, build a simple hermitage and live with only one aim in mind, self-realization. See how important the human life is and how those wise kings utilized the last stage of life to perfect their Krishna consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead. They were not attached. And that is why the last paragraph of this purport says, politicians should take note of all these things. They go on holding on to power till the last breath, 80s, 90s, 100s, whatnot, whatever age. They are just bent on carrying on because they're so attached to the trappings of power, prestige, position, influence, money, all those things. But this is not the position of a self-realized personality. Okay, so the symptoms of Kali will go on for a total of 32,000 years. This is the smallest age. There are 3 other ages before this where the duration of life itself is very long. And the duration of the Yuga is also very long. For example, Kali Yuga is the smallest at 432,000. The next age before this was called Dwapar Yuga, and it is double that of Kali. That means 864,000 years. Okay. Then before that was Treta Yuga, and that is 1,296,000 years, which is 3 times 432,000. And the first Yuga called Satya Yuga is 4 times that of Kali, which is 1,728,000 years. Such a long age. So this is actually a very short age, but even this age, we can see how it is full of quarrel, hypocrisy, falsehood, diplomacy, cheating, violence, nepotism, and all these things we are seeing around us. We can understand it is all symptoms of Kali. And what is the nature of the men of this age of Kali? Let's look at, I'll share the screen with you. In Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 10, it gives very clear indication of how we are in this age of Kali. Prayenalpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadhrutaha. It's a very famous verse, and Prabhupada would often quote this verse. What does it mean? Translation. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So you see, this is the problem in this age of Kali. The people of this age are also very lazy, not only materially, but in the matter of self-realization. Human life is especially meant for self-realization. That is to say, man should come to know what he is, what the world is, and what the supreme truth is. Human life is a means by which the living entity can end all the miseries of the hard struggle for life and material existence, and by which he can return to Godhead, his eternal home. Just see the value of this human form of life. But in this age, people, what they're addicted to, let's take a look. What does Srila Prabhupada say? In this age, men are victims, not only of different political creeds, but also many different types of sense gratification, such as cinema, sports, gambling, clubs, mundane libraries, bad associations, smoking, drinking, cheating, pilfering, bickering, and so on. No wonder our minds are always disturbed and full of anxieties because of all these bad habits, bad association. But what does this purport say? Devotee has nothing to fear. Why? Because those who are under the protection of the Lord have nothing to fear from this horrible age. I'm going to highlight this. This is so important to understand. Why? Because they are following the real religion, which is following the laws of God. By following the laws of God, we remain protected. Because those who are obedient to the will of the Lord, those who are submissive, and those who know what is our duty? Serve the Lord. What is our duty? Love the Lord. What is our duty? Speak about the Lord, preach about the Lord, tell others about the Lord. It's all about Krishna. And those devotees who are sincerely trying to do the Lord's will are always going to be protected by the Lord. So we have nothing to worry. I remember Guru Maharaj saying so many times, especially during the COVID time, when there was so much anxiety and fear in the world going around. And Gurudev, almost every class he would say, devotees have nothing to worry. Devotees have nothing to worry. And I would be so happy to hear those words because all around me, people were spreading so much. They themselves were fearful. And so there's, this fear complex, going around, all fear, terror, worry, anxiety, tension, stress. And these things were like shooting up sky high with so many mental health problems, so many issues, all due to the influence of Kali without the protection of the Lord. This is what happens to the people out there, poor things who don't know Krishna. But those who are protected because they are following the laws of Lord have nothing to fear from this horrible age. And Lord Chaitanya has come to give the very easy means to remain under the Lord's protection. He says, simply chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Is everyone able to hear me? I hope everyone, I'm just seeing the chat messages. I don't know where and when those were sent. But if you have difficulty, let me know, okay?
No, Mataji, voice is clear.
Okay, thank you. Maharaj Yudhishthir was a great devotee of the Lord, and there was no necessity of his being afraid of the age of Kali. But he preferred to retire from active household life and prepared himself to go back home, back to Godhead. So devotee understands this human life is meant for only one thing, self-realization, to go back home, back to Godhead. So when I've read this sentence that those who are under the protection of the Lord have nothing to fear, I decided, let me just see what Vani Quotes has to say about the protection of Krishna. So I will share that with you because it's so beautiful. Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditioned life. See how much protection Krishna is giving his devotee. Here is another one. All the members of the family of Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord, and therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. Then again, Prabhupada writes here, the Pandavas were 100% dependent on the protection of the Lord, although they were all great warriors themselves. Then yet again, how does Prabhupada explain? The secret to success is to take refuge under the protection of the Supreme Lord. Then once more, this is another beautiful one. One should seek the protection of the Supreme Lord, but the human form of life is meant for seeking that protection. I won't read the other part, that will just confuse you because it's related to that pastime. The Jiva Tattvas are infinitesimal potential particles of the Lord, and therefore they require the protection of the Lord at all times. And to the eternal servitors of the Lord is pleased to give all protection at all times. So you see how much protection Krishna is giving to those who are faithfully following the process of Bhakti Yoga. So devotees have nothing to fear. Devotees are cool as a cucumber in the early morning dew, simply because of the Lord's protection. So Pandavas are eternal companions of the Lord. So what do they want? They want Krishna. They don't want opulences of this world. They didn't care for their position as kings and emperors and in amassing more and more wealth or collecting more and more beautiful women for their harem. They were not interested in sense gratification because they were completely pure devotees of the Lord. They wanted Krishna. And we should also take a cue from that and decide, in this human form of life, Krishna, I will see to it that I only want you. Of course, we are not there yet. We want so many things of this world. That's because we are still materially affected. We still have attachment, desires, so many things. But the way to get through that is to not act upon those desires or try to fulfill the desires, but just surrender those desires to the Lord and say, my dear Lord, I know I'm not a pure devotee. I know I'm a mixed devotee, but you please help me to spiritualize every desire I have. Then you're safe. Because once our desires are spiritual, Krishna is happy to fulfill them. You become happy, Krishna is happy, everyone's happy. But material desires lead only to more and more entanglement. So Krishna doesn't really like to fulfill those desires because he knows it will get us into trouble. So we get frustrated and then we surrender. So Pandavas being ideal king, Maharaj Yudhishthir, he wanted to also set an example. See, the human form of life in this present age is supposed to be 100 years. The first 25 years is supposed to be celibate student life. The second 25 years is supposed to be sacred Grihast Ashram for those who choose to enter Grihast Ashram. Some may continue as brahmacharis or brahmacharinis, some may continue like that. The third stage is called Vanaprastha, which is 50 to 75. And the last stage of life is sannyas, which is renouncing everything, taking complete shelter of the Lord and purifying ourselves more and more by doing more and more tapasya, by doing more and more sadhana, by doing more and more devotional service. So sannyas is not just for the sannyasis, those people in orange robes, it's for everyone. Because at the time of death, what are we going to do? If we are not practicing renunciation now, do you think suddenly at the moment of death we'll be able to give it up? No, we are going to go with all those attachments to our next body. So knowing that the inevitable is coming, remember what Bhuta Bhavana said. Those who are intelligent, they know the inevitable is coming and so they prepare for the best outcome. And what is that best outcome? To gain full spiritual self-realization and go back home, back to Godhead, go back to Krishna. So, what does Prabhupada explain? How to go about it? As soon as there is some young fellow to look after household affairs, one should at once retire from family life to uplift oneself to self-realization. One should not rot in the dark well of household life till one is dragged out by death. Modern politicians should take lessons about voluntary retirement from active life and make room for the younger generation. Also, retired old men should take lessons and leave home for spiritual realization before being forcefully dragged away to meet death. So, Prabhupada explained like this Gandhiji, he was a politician and he was also considered a saint among the politicians because he faithfully read the Bhagavad Gita. He would visit the temple wherever he was. He would make it a point to visit the temple. He was a very pious personality. But he wouldn't give up politics and finally he was killed by an assassin's bullet. I'll stop share there. And actually, Srila Prabhupada wrote to Mahatma Gandhi. He said, my dear Mr. Gandhi, please take to Krishna consciousness. You are speaking so many words from the Gita, but this is the formula. He explained how he should go about it. And he said to him, he warned him. He said, if you do not take to this, you will die a very ignominious death. He even predicted to Mahatma Gandhi what would happen. But there was no reply and no possible. It's very likely that Mahatma Gandhi's secretary or somebody saw it and didn't even, it didn't even reach Mahatma Gandhi because there was no reply. And then several months later, Mahatma Gandhi was shot dead. So Prabhupada's words came true. Prabhupada could see with his wisdom what's going to happen. So now that we have been given all this knowledge, we have been given the good fortune of understanding the value of the human form of life is to make a permanent solution to the miseries of this material existence. Because who likes to grow old? Who likes to get diseases? Who likes to die again and again? But we are forced to do all these things because we are in this material body. But only in the human form of life, we can escape from this endless cycle of birth and death. Because unlike cats and dogs and trees and insects and reptiles and fish and, all these lower creatures, we have a highly developed brain and the capacity to think, the capacity to reason, the capacity to discriminate. Man is made in the image of God. We are the closest on the evolutionary scale when it comes to the godly creatures, people in the higher realms. So we must take advantage of this knowledge and try our level best to do little every day. We may not be able to do big things, but even the little bit that we do every day counts for a lot. So simply by being faithful to this process, we will slowly find ourselves getting more and more detached from this material world and all the entanglement of this material world, and getting more and more attached to Krishna, more and more attracted to Krishna, more and more attracted to his service, to his devotees, and make our life successful in Krishna consciousness and become fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. So how will we understand that we are progressing? Exactly by these things. We will lose the taste for material enjoyment, and we will get more and more taste for absorbing ourselves in the words of Krishna, in the service of Krishna, in the service of his devotees. This is how we are going to see, am I making advancement? Am I doing good? And what do I have to work on? Devotee is very introspective. He's very careful, very conscious, and very cautious to protect his spiritual life. So by following this process of bhakti yoga, by chanting our rounds every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we will make gradual progress, and the day will come when we will be totally detached from this material world. It will have no attraction for us because we are fully absorbed in Krishna. So thank you all very much for listening patiently. We will now open up for questions, comments, realization. So, because there's nobody to host the call, I will take the questions. I see that there is a question from Rishabh Prabhu. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for the class. What does Krishna protect exactly in a devotee? Yes, what does Krishna protect in a devotee is his spiritual life, because devotees also die. Because the material body is perishable, we can go anytime. Accident, arrangement, call it whatever you like. Krishna, but Krishna is always in control. Let's go to chapter 8. I think it's verse 27. There, Srila Prabhupada explains the devotee should not worry whether he's going to go by accident or by arrangement, but he should have full confidence that Krishna is there and Krishna is protecting his devotee. So what does Krishna protect? Our consciousness. We will never lose whatever Krishna consciousness we have. Yeah, this is about the passing away. One in light, one in... Okay. Text 27. So Rishabh Prabhu, here's your answer. Krishna is advising Arjuna he should not be disturbed by the different path the soul can take when leaving the material world. A devotee should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. He should simply be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. So, always to be dovetailed in Krishna's service, and this will make one's path. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot a screen share. Let me scan. I thought you were all seeing this, but that's my mistake. Okay, now you'll be able to see it. A devotee should not worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. Instead, he should be fixed, firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always dovetailed in his service. And this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. So, Krishna protects our consciousness. Whatever level we have attained, we will never lose that and we will pick up where we have left off from the previous lifetime. Unlike everything else which will disappear with the end of this body, Krishna consciousness will remain forever and forever in your spiritual bank account. That's what Krishna protects. I hope that answers your question. Rishabh Prabhu, very nice question. Does Krishna plan the passing away of the devotees? No, he doesn't plan. He knows what's going to happen. He knows past, present, and future. He knows everyone's karma. He knows the past of every devotee, the present, and the future of every devotee. So he's the permitter, upadrishta, anumanta. He's the permitter and the overseer. So if someone's lifespan, say, is very pious, done many good deeds, then automatically there's longevity. So the person may pass away only after many, 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 many years. Another person may be fated to leave the body in teenage years because of his karma. So Krishna may sometimes change that also. Supposing I was supposed to be hanged for murder. In my previous life, I committed murder. So in this life, I was supposed to be killed. So Krishna, because I've become a devotee, Srila Prabhupada explained, instead of being hanged, I will just get a cut on my finger. See how merciful Krishna is. So Krishna will change our karma depending on our level of Krishna consciousness, our level of surrender, and also his plan for our life. Because remember, Krishna has a divine plan for each and every one of us. So hope that answers your question. Anyone else has any questions, comments? Feel free to jump in or add to the discussion if you like. Anybody else would like to ask any question? So it doesn't look like, okay, let's see. Does Krishna decide who will become a devotee, or is that a decision of the soul? No, Krishna wants all of us to become devotees. Sorry. Krishna has only one desire. All my children should come back to me. He is very anxious to bring us back home, back to him. So he wants everyone to become a devotee, but he doesn't interfere with our free will. Krishna is a gentleman. He wants you to give your love voluntarily. He will never force himself on us. Never. So that is a decision we have to take. Yeah, it's a question of our free will. We have to decide, yes, I want to be obedient to the laws of God. I want to become a devotee. I want to be fulfilling what is my real dharma. That's why there are people who don't want to do that, and they are called asuras, the demons, who are against God. Those who are following the laws of God are called demigods. Like that. Devas, they're called devas. So Krishna doesn't interfere with our free will. He doesn't decide, you will be a demon, you will be a devotee. He leaves that decision to us. My obeisances to you, Sukavaha. And Scarlet Mataji says, maybe chant one round. Certainly. I would love to chant one round with everyone if that's what you all would like to do. So if there are no more questions.
Mataji, I have one question. Sorry, my internet is playing up badly, so I can't put my video on. But can you please elaborate and explain how do we like, when we are suffering, how should we react? What should we do? Do we, if we, my understanding is if we lament, we will increase our karma, or we get reacted to the situation, then we increase our karma. Is it right? Please, can you help? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Mhm. Well, it is very natural because we are not pure devotees yet. We are still, struggling with our anarthas, struggling with the three modes of material nature. So our first reaction is, oh, poor me, what is happening? We start grieving, or we feel bad, we feel sad, we are upset, and so on, so on, so on. But devotee then starts thinking, what is the lesson behind this? What am I supposed to learn from this? What is Krishna trying to teach me? So then he or she, they turn to their Vaishnava friends, their Vaishnava mentors, guru, and ask questions. I'm feeling so upset. I'm feeling so disturbed. I don't understand what is happening. What should be my response? Right now, I'm feeling very much grieved by this situation. Please show me what I need to learn. Shastra Chakshus. Because we are seeing it through our conditioned eyes. We have the divine personalities like the Guru, the Shiksha Guru, the mentors who can see through Shastra Chakshus. One must learn to see through the eyes of the scripture every single thing that is happening in our life. Then we will respond wisely and not react badly. And then we will get clear instructions on how to proceed. I cannot tell you how many times my mentor has saved me from doing something stupid or dangerous even, because I have opened my heart and immediately told her what is going on and what is bothering me and what I'm thinking of doing. And certain plans, she just shot it down. No way, don't waste your time. This is not good. And saved me from so many difficult situations. If I had done what my mind was telling me to do, I would have landed in a bigger mess. So we must always, always seek the wise counsel of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra for every situation of life. Every situation. This material life is full of complexities, perplexities. What does Bhagavad Gita 2:7 say? Shishyasteham mam shadi, Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. By its very nature, let me open it up for you. Very beautiful purport is there. Bhagavad Gita 2:7. Srila Prabhupada writes, by its very nature, this material world is full of perplexities. And therefore, it behooves one to take the guidance of a spiritual master. Karpanya dosha pahata svabhava, Prichami tvam dharma samudha chetaha, Yat shreyasa nishchitam bruhi tanme, Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. See here. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplex. Oh, sorry, I'll do screen share so that you can see the screen share. And then by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there's perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. So your second part of your question was, if we hanker, if we lament, we will be increasing our karma. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Simply by feeling upset, you're not going to increase your karma. But if in that upset state, you go and attack your neighbor, or punch a policeman, or do something out of anger or rage or grief or whatever it is, then definitely you're going to increase your karma. But just having the feelings of anger or sadness or grief is not going to increase your karma, because in this age of Kali, we don't get a reaction for thinking bad things or having bad feelings and all that. It's only when we take action, then we get karma for it. So hope that answers your question, Sukavaha. If there is any further clarification, let me know. Yeah, thank you. Isn't suffering a manifestation of the mind? Yes. Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidaivika. So, the three kleshas which are there in this material world, some of them are from one's own mind and body, some of them are due to natural calamities. If there's a cyclone, if there's an earthquake, it's not coming from my mind, it is actually happening and it's causing me great distress. Tornadoes, fires, forest fires, what not is going on in the world today. Adibhautika, Adidaivika, Adhyatmika. So sometimes it will come from one's own mind and body, sometimes it will come from the outside, sometimes it will come from insects and enemies, and so on. So all these things we get in this material world. Durga Devi has trident, the sharp spokes on her trident. Those are the three kleshas. And we get poked all the time until we surrender and say, oh, enough, please spare me. I will listen to Krishna. So that's what happens to us. Any more questions? Any more comments? So, doesn't look like there are, at least I don't see any more questions in the chat. I don't see any raised hands. I think that we are coming to the end of today's class. And Scarlett Mataji said we will chant, she would like to chant one round. Would you like to do that? Those who wish to leave, feel free to leave if you have other things to do. But those who would like to stay and chant 1 or 2 rounds, we can do that. That's no problem for me. So shall we do that? Okay. All right, let's begin 1 round of chanting. I will mute myself and we can all chant together one. You're welcome, Scarlett. You're welcome, all devotees. My humble obeisances to all of you. So we will end the call over here. I will offer my prayers to you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Have a wonderful Krishna-filled day wherever you are. Some of you are beginning your day, some of you are in the middle of the day, and here it is almost late evening. Hare Krishna. Tomorrow I fly back to Mayapur Dham early morning at 3. So I have to get packing and get going. So I will also say Hare Krishna now.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Bol.